Happy Monday, still fun day. Welcome on into Let's Bet It. Lauren Jabari here with Jared Smith. Jared, 7 days away from the Super Bowl. We're almost there. I felt like last week it felt so far away, and now it's less than a week. I'm so excited.
This is like the weirdest because we have one game left. It's not like we have like this full card that we get to break down this week. We've already done most of the I've done like pretty much my handicap is done. I actually submitted my article, my best bets column last night. Check Pickswise.com either today, tomorrow, sometime in the next 24 hours. My full card for the Super Bowl will drop. We'll do the full Monty. And then now we just kind of wait. Like it is a kind of hurry up and wait approach. As a fellow journalist, you certainly know all about that. But now it's finally here, Super Bowl week. We've got some interesting things planned for you this week too. You're gonna have to stay tuned, as they say.
Yeah, stay tuned. Some fun Pickswise content, as we'll say, coming up. So don't miss it. We'll make sure to keep you posted on Twitter, Instagram, all of the above, Pickswise.com. We got a lot of stuff dropping, so make sure to check that out. Before we get started today with the card, I know you wanted to vent for a second, right? About the Canada-Russia Olympic hockey game because it was wild.
Yeah, so women's hockey, first of all, it is now becoming a massive, late night niche betting, because remember that during the pandemic when there weren't a lot of sports going on, we bet on like Korean baseball,
yes, of course,
Russian ping pong, like all kinds of crap.
Yeah, and they all had like the cardboard cutout fans in the stands. Yeah. Remember that?
I don't know if that's the case in China for the Olympics, but Team Canada is like light years ahead of the rest of the teams facing, that they're facing in the Olympics. And their first two games, they won 12-1 and 11-1. And so everyone was hopping on the bandwagon last night against Team Russia, who has been pretty shaky during the Olympic stretch. Team Canada was laying 6.5 goals, a touchdown of goals in a hockey.
Something we've never seen before.
You rarely see that. But of course, everybody was piling on the bandwagon last night because it was the game didn't start till midnight. There was a weird COVID delay because Russia didn't submit their results. Don't even get me started about that. But eventually the game
and they had to wear masks, right?
They had to wear masks during the game, which maybe had an effect. I don't think it did, but it could have. I was up till 2:30 in the morning watching women's hockey last night. First of all, those chicks from Canada are ballers. They are unbelievable.
Well, they're playing the USA, tomorrow?
I think that's going to be the next match that we look at. But they started out really hot against Team Russia. I think they had like 50 shots on goals, but they only scored 6, and they didn't cover. The game stayed under. Everybody bet Canada and the over, like everybody. And we all lost. But it was a fun late night sweat at 2 a.m. watching women's Olympic hockey. Get on the bandwagon. We'll have more. Don't worry. We'll have more Olympic hockey picks coming up.
1,000%. Their next game is actually against USA. That's going to be a really fun one. The last game of the round robin. So that's going to be a huge game. We'll definitely be talking about that a little bit. I don't know if it's tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah, it's a really late night. So it's a perfect thing to start our show with because usually it happens when everyone else is sleeping.
Yes.
And
when most of the normal people are sleeping and we're betting on random sports in Jen right now.
We don't bet on random sports. Just wait. EPL is back this week. Wink, wink, kid pick.
Oh, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Just
There's
saying. Well, today we got an exciting show. NBA Morning Radar, 5 games on the slate tonight. We're going to take a look at some of the line movement that we're seeing, some of the Monday Still Fun Day matchups that are going on. Then we have our good old friend Ross Tucker on. Love having him on because he always brings a Chipotle reference to the table. We're talking about the Super Bowl with him and maybe his latest meal that he had this weekend. So stay tuned for that. College basketball predictions, some big games going on tonight. We're going to break them down. Jared goes dumpster diving as always. And then we can't end without our Pickswise 3-star play of the day and our best bets of the day. I'll give you a little heads up. My best bet in the NHL All-Star break.
He's back.
Over. 2 games on the slate tonight. We'll talk about one of them. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it, Jared. Let's bet it. NBA, 5 games on the slate tonight. When you're looking at the board, how much line movement have you seen from some of these games going on tonight?
Not a ton. Chicago and Phoenix, Bulls hosting the Suns tonight.
Yes.
Saw a little bit of action on Phoenix from 6.5 to 8. Toronto goes from 1 to 2. They are in Charlotte tonight. That game you would think would have some over vibes. The Hornets always give me those over vibes to it. Little movement on Utah. They are hosting the Knicks from 7. I'm seeing 7.5, 8 in the market. The total's actually gone up pretty significantly there. 216.5. Now I'm seeing 219. There's a 220 available at South Point. Not really a whole lot. It is a lighter card in the NBA. Mondays tend to be a lighter card. So nothing significant. I would say the steamiest move of the morning is that total in Salt Lake. 216 to 219. And again, the 220, pretty significant. I'm seeing a few 220s on the board there. So if you want the steamy NBA morning radar move of the day, it is the Knicks and the Jazz over, which is kind of against what I would expect because the Jazz defense and the Knicks on the road can be a bit of an offensive shell, and they're more of a defensive team, I would say. So a little contrarian on that move.
I know. I'm actually on that game. Not the game, but I'm on a player prop. But
I like your prop for that game.
Yeah, the Jazz on the second half of a back-to-back in this one. They played the Nets last night. But I like RJ Barrett in this one under 20 and a half points at plus 100. He's averaging about 17.9 points throughout the season. 53 games, he's put up more than 21 and a half points only 14 times. He's exceeded his points prop total 23 times this season, but this points prop total is basically three points over what he's averaging for the season this year.
Yeah.
The Jazz are 8th right now in defensive rating. Yeah, Rudy Gobert is not playing. He has that calf strain. Joe Ingles has been ruled out as well. Jordan Clarkson, Rudy Gay, they are questionable for the game tonight. But at the same time, I'm still feeling pretty good about this. The Knicks, 2-8, I think, over their last 10 games. Yeah, the Jazz haven't been that great either. They're 3-7 over their last 10. But at the same time, they're still one of the top teams defensively. And I think that they'll be able to shut RJ Barrett down. Not even necessarily down. I just don't think he's going to be getting above his average, which is 17.9 points per game. And I kind of like getting it at plus money right there at plus 100. So yeah, I'm taking that game. The Jazz crushed the Nets last night by they were up by like 25 points at one time. I think they won by like 15. But yeah, Jazz second half of a back-to-back. They might have a little tired legs, but I think at the same time, they're still going to be able to take advantage of the New York Knicks. You're taking yours though to Charlotte, right? You like Toronto? Or like as a player prop of Toronto?
Yeah. One thing on the Knicks. I mean, again, this is just like my Knicks fandom talking. Yeah. I don't think the Knicks ever play well in Utah. They always have struggles there. It's a tough.
I will say it is at altitude. Like playing in Utah, playing in Denver, you're playing at altitude. The lugs start burning a little bit. It's a lot. Like I even walked upstairs there and I got tired. I mean, I know they're professional athletes, but at the same time, like you never know, right? So
I would be dying if I was. My lungs would be burning like crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I do. This is you know me. I like the plus money player prop, the plops. I'm a big NBA plop.
Love a good plop.
This is a ploppy. This is the ploppiest of the plops. So I was scrolling through the market last night, and I noticed one bet that was kind of calling to me, like the one true ring, the ring of power, like precious. Pascal Siakam. I'm sorry, I will never do that again. Pascal Siakam over 1.5 made threes is plus 196, almost 2-1. So hear me out. Pascal Siakam's had a rough year. He actually started out okay, and then the regression came. and he has not been shooting it very well this season. He has not had a majority of games over 1.5 made threes, but he's coming off a game where he went 3 for 3 from the arc. So think about it from a mental standpoint. Struggling season for Pascal, hasn't been shooting it that well, under where his totals usually are, under where his percentages usually are. But then he has this 3 for 3 game where he doesn't miss a three.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's going to be a little more inclined, a little more aggressive, a little more confident in this game tonight. And he has the perfect matchup facing a Hornets team that has given up the second most three-pointers per game this season, over 14 per game. They're bottom 10 in three-point percentage defense. So the confidence is there for Pascal. This is, again, a contrarian play, but now we're getting the matchup and we're getting a little bit of positive regression with a good game shooting it in his last outing. So it is, again, very ploppy at plus 196. Do I expect this to hit? No, of course. It's 2-1. The averages are about 33-ish% odds implied that this is going to hit. But we're taking a chance. We're gambling. That's what we do here on the show. So Pascal Siakam over 1.5.
It's called gambling for a reason, people. That's all I got to say about that.
Let's go.
Yeah, I will say on Friday against the Hawks, he went off. He had like 33 points. And I don't know how many made threes he had, but he was on fire from beyond the arc. So I will say that. Also, quick note for you before we bring in Ross Tucker. I actually want to read you this text message from my father, okay, for you about your golf bets this weekend.
Oh,
they were good.
No, I had a rough week.
He said that he liked your bets from the weekend.
Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Jabbar, but I went
kudos to Jared on his golf picks. Gave out Spieth and Hodge, and they're tied for the lead with 2 holes left.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
I did like.
He said I didn't bet them, but I hope some viewers did.
I did. So I get it. It's Hoagie, by the way.
Sorry, did I say Hoge?
Hoagie. I'm gonna have to buy you a hoagie. I just spilled coffee.
Actually, I am starving right now, and a hoagie sounds amazing.
Well, just wait till Ross comes on the show.
Oh God! Yeah, speaking of Ross, let's bring him on. Ross Tucker.
We need some food stories.
Yeah, we need some food stories. Ross Tucker, let's bring him in and talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. How good does a hoagie sound this morning?
Oh, real good.
You know what? I ate and drank so much this weekend that actually I would say a hoagie does not sound that good. I need a salad. I mean, I don't know if we talked about this, but I'm typically Friday morning like 248 pounds. And then on a Monday morning, like today, 258. I gained 10 pounds a weekend on average, I would say. A lot of that's water weight. A lot of that's probably sodium.
Yeah.
I make poor eating choices when I drink as much as I do over the weekend. So, I mean, while a hoagie sounds delicious, I now need to be a good boy from Monday to Thursday and eat like salmon and a veggie and a salad. So I do the whole thing again. And every weekend I'm like, man, if I can just not drink and eat that much this weekend, I'll be so far ahead of the game. It never happens.
This is a big one too.
Actually happens
Sunday. So I'm assuming the Tucker spread is going to be luscious this weekend.
You know, ironically, you would think, right, Jared?
Yeah.
Usually my wife and daughters go to like a Super Bowl party, but I have no interest in those things, right? Okay. So like the last thing I want to do is be around a bunch of people that don't know anything about football asking me questions while I'm trying to watch the last game, right? Like
you sound like
a
me.
couple years I went for the first half, you know, and I was like, I hung out with the first half. But even that annoyed me. I really just went for the food. I really just went for everybody. Everybody brings like their buffalo chicken dip. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah. Like, I think it's probably rude. But if I go this year, I will go an hour before the game starts. And I will leave 15 minutes before the game starts
get home right
to get back. I literally will go there, eat all of the appetizers that the ladies brought, the little pretzel bites, you know, like you get at Philly pretzel, like the little pretzel bites. They've got spicy mustard. They've got cheese. I just dominate all that and then leave. I can't handle morons, nice people, but morons around me when I'm watching the game. I just can't handle. So long story short,
invite rescinded after revealing this on live TV.
Well, I don't care. Whatever. They know how I feel about them. I like them a lot, just not when I'm watching a football game. Yeah, they're football morons. They're like doctors and lawyers, but they're football morons.
Yeah,
which is all I care about. Okay,
book smart, sports not very smart.
Yeah, it's like go ahead, go cure cancer. I really don't care. Okay, the Bengals are playing the Rams right now. Can we get some priorities and perspective in life?
I'm dead. That's so good. Speaking of the Rams taking on the Bengals, it's been said, my friend, that games are won and lost in the trenches. I think do you kind of see the advantage here in this matchup?
No question. First of all, you're right, Lauren. That is where games a lot of times are won and lost. And there's no doubt the Rams have a significant advantage, especially when the Bengals are on offense. But I thought Greg Cosell made a really good point on this morning's Ross Tucker Football podcast when he said, like, the Bengals know their offensive line isn't good. The Rams know the Bengals' offensive line isn't good, right? Like, there's no secrets here, okay? We all know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so it's really incumbent upon Zach Taylor and his staff in Cincinnati to not let that be the difference in the game, right? Like, you can't – and honestly – I think the Chiefs allowed that to be the difference in the game last year. The Chiefs allowed that, and the way they tried to rectify it was just by swapping out personnel, which they did this offseason. There's not enough time for the Bengals to swap out personnel. These are the guys they're going with. So what really matters is that Zach Taylor comes up with a game plan that mitigates the risk for Joe Burrow of straight drop back passing, knowing the mismatches that are there. Does he go more 2 tight end sets? Do they try to run it a little bit more with Joe Mixon, who's a beast? I mean, there are options they have. Burrow is incredible in terms of pocket movement, but I also don't see Burrow rushing for 4 third down conversions again. That said, I still love, I don't know if we talked about this recently, I love Burrow and Stafford, quite frankly. I like their over rushing props a lot because it's the last game. What are they saving themselves? Like, there's a hole. Yeah. They should go and get it. I think Stafford's like 1 run, and he would hit the over. Burrow, last I checked, was like, Jared, you probably know, like 11.5. So maybe that's 2 runs for him, but I still think it's probably a pretty good bet.
Well, he had 25 in the championship game. And you're right. There were some moments where he probably felt the pressure because he was under pressure the whole game. He didn't get sacked as many times as he got sacked against the Titans. They did a good job getting the ball out of his hands. But the thing that really pushes me to, for a spoiler alert, we're about to drop the column on Pickswise.com. That's my best prop. That's my best bet of the whole Super Bowl. Burrow over 11.5 rushing yards. To me, that's way too low. He is going to be under constant duress the entire game. And that's basically one opening where he takes it up the middle and runs for 10, 15 yards.
And you know what else? Over. Jared, you could probably speak to this. I think in general, quarterback rushing props in the playoffs
100%.
are too low because they're basing those numbers on the regular season when these guys are a lot less likely to run because they're protected. I mean, it's the playoffs. Tannehill, like whoever it is, they're running, man. Like if there's a chance to run and that's the best play, Mahomes had the most rushing yards in that Bills-Chiefs game. I mean, these guys are running. So there's a lot of people that made a lot of money this postseason taking the quarterback over rushing props.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of props, what props are you on? I'm heading into Sunday's game.
By the way, can I say one thing real quick? Did you guys notice, Jared? I forgot to tag you. Did you notice that I had DraftKings boost 25% boost on the Pro Bowl over yesterday, over 62.5, which means of my 5 boosts since week 18, 4 of the 5 hit. The only one that didn't was when I wanted to get, and get a big man touchdown.
That one too.
But I knew it was a long shot. And of course the odds weren't what people
said it was a long shot.
I said it was a long shot, and everybody's like, oh, the number at FanDuel last week was that. Do you realize there was 2
crushed on that number the prior week?
Yeah, they got destroyed, and there was 2 touchdowns that week. So anyway, I like
touchdowns in the same week.
Yeah,
Of
two
what
big
was it,
man touchdowns.
four
Like, what do you
games
think they're gonna do?
playoff
Keep the
play?
same number? You
Crazy.
know, how did they have all this money? So some props I like. Obviously, Burrow over. I like Stafford over on the rushing yardage. I'm going Cooper Kupp over. The guy's unstoppable. I mean, he went over 14 to 20 games this year. The guy, that's who they designed stuff for. That's who Stafford wants to throw it to. Now, the Bengals do have a really good nickelback in Mike Hilton. So that's a fun matchup to watch. But Cooper Kupp, 14 out of 20. What is that, 70%? Boom.
Yeah.
And I didn't even go to Michigan, Lauren, and I know that. Okay. So 70% right there. And then kind of like, I think that I see, I haven't looked at it since midweek last week. I like the Tyler Boyd under. Tyler Boyd's number seemed a little rich to me. It doesn't seem like Burrow looks to him that much. No. And Jalen Ramsey plays a lot in the slot, in the nickel. So I had under Tyler Boyd, over Burrow and Stafford rushing, over Kupp receiving.
The thing about Kupp that's intriguing to me, if he goes over that total at 100 and whatever.
MVP.
Exactly. And the MVP is 5 or 6 to 1. So it's a very correlated bet. If his receptions total is 8.5 and his yardage is 105, 106. If he gets 9 and 110 and a touchdown and the Rams win like a 24-17, 24-21 kind of game, he is going to win the MVP.
I don't know about that, bro. Oh. Matt Stafford has big-time narrative streak. And if that's Cooper Kupp's receiving totals.
Kupp, because he's going to lose out, he's not going to get the regular season MVP, and he probably should have gotten some consideration. There's a little media sympathy there.
No, because I think Cooper Kupp will be the offensive player of the year.
True.
And that'll be announced Thursday night. And people will feel like, okay, Aaron Rodgers got his flowers. Cooper Kupp got his. Now Matthew Stafford deserves it. Unless Stafford throws a couple picks or something.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's one of the props that I'm on is Matt Stafford over a half interception. He's thrown 18 on the season, 17 the regular season. He's thrown 4 pick sixes this season. Jared Goff only threw 4 pick sixes in his 5 seasons with the Rams.
Wow.
Matthew Stafford has 4 this year. So I actually was thinking about sprinkling a defense or special teams touchdown. Why not? I know, like, obviously it's a long shot, but at the same time,
that's not a bad idea at all. Those happen in the Super Bowl. James Harrison, there's precedent for that. There is.
Yeah, I don't know. That's Ross. Who are you on for possible MVP this year for the Super Bowl?
Well, I think the one name I think is intriguing is, and I haven't looked. I got to look to see what his number is now. I think Aaron Donald.
I got 25.
It's rare to be a defensive MVP, but if it's not a high-scoring game and he's wreaking havoc, the Bengals guard situation, especially at right guard, is problematic. And I think it'll almost be a way to like tip of the cap and acknowledge just how great of a player he's been the last 6-7 years, however long he's been playing. So I think there's some possibility there with Aaron Donald.
And that's the reason why I think that's intriguing. Obviously, the Cooper Kupp situation where he's going to get Offensive Player of the Year, not MVP. Aaron Donald is not going to win Defensive Player of the Year. It's going to be TJ Watt, despite the fact that Aaron Donald is the highest graded defensive player in the league, according to PFF. So I got 25 to 1. I'm seeing it in the 20 to 1 range. And you're right. If it's a 21-17 kind of game and Donald gets a sack on the final drive to secure the win, there's been 2 defensive MVPs in the last 5-10 years, Malcolm Smith and Von Miller. So there is precedent for that as well.
Malcolm Smith, gosh, that's crazy that Malcolm Smith got it. By the way, I think they vote for MVP with like a minute and a half left in the game or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which it's like, wait a minute, if it's a close game, like, I mean, there's so many flawed things, but those are the kind of things you need to know before you're placing a bet. Like, when do they vote on the MVP? Because that matters. People like Evan McPherson for MVP. I can't believe his odds. I will not allow that. Over my dead body, will I allow them
to have. I'll give you 2 other ones. Von Miller's won it before. I mean, what if he gets 3 sacks in the game? And same thing for Leonard Floyd. What if one of those, or even the other defensive end for the Rams that's had a really good year, the kid from Bama that won the Natty title a few years ago, Aldrick Robinson, I think, or I think that name's a little.
A'Shawn Robinson, yeah.
A'Shawn Robinson, thank you. what if one of those guys has a 2 or 3 sack game? I could totally see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, I can absolutely see that happening too. Okay, final question for you. Well, I have 2 more questions for you. One, you think the Rams are going to win this game straight up?
Probably, but I think I know what your other question is going to be. I mean, should I wait or should I just tell you now?
You can just tell me.
I love the Bengals and the points.
Yes.
Love the Bengals. I mean, every game has been a close game. Yeah. These Bengals don't blink. We saw it in Tennessee. We saw it at the end of the Raiders game. We saw it, of course, when they were down 21-3 to the Chiefs. I just don't envision them blinking in this one. I think this will be a close, competitive game. 4.5 seems like a lot. I mean, it's rare to like a Super Bowl bet as much as I like the Bengals getting 4.5. Now, maybe that's just because I want them to win, because I want it for the people of Cincinnati. They've never won a Super Bowl. Yes. I don't need the Rams 9 fans to win a Super Bowl. Like, I want the whole people of Ohio to rejoice. Nobody from Ohio has ever won a Super Bowl. No team in the state of Ohio. So I hope the Bengals win. I'm biased, but look, I look at it differently. As a former player, if the Rams win, I'll be so happy for Stafford, Andrew Whitworth, Weddle, Aaron Donald. I'll be happy for those guys, but I'd rather a whole region gets revitalized. I know what it was like here when the Eagles won in 2017. It changed people's lives. I mean, yeah, there's still 41-33 stickers on the back of half the cars, which was the score of that game.
How many 41-33 tattoos do you think are floating around the field?
Oh, dude, you have no idea. I went to Super Bowl. I went to Super Bowl celebration parties for weeks after that, and they would sing "Fly Eagles." My buddy who lives right there, he's making cheesesteaks, and I'm like, I had cheesesteaks and sang the song, and like I played for the team. It was amazing. So I love that. Anyway, Lauren, I love the Bengals and the points.
Yeah, I know. I love them so much. I bought the Joe Burrow glasses. So
I was wondering. I saw you put those glasses on. I was like, okay, where are we going here? Yeah, Jared started the segment with no glasses. Lauren's finishing the segment with glasses.
On mid-show.
I'm channeling my inner Joe Burrow energy. I actually bought a Joe Burrow sweatshirt too, with just his eyes with the glasses on too. So I'm going to be rocking all of it for the Super Bowl. Let's go Bengals. I bet them straight up. I bet the Bengals in the points. I like the Bengals in this spot.
Let me just say this. Unless you're a Rams fan or have money on the Rams,
yes.
If you root for the Rams, you have no soul. Okay? You have no soul, and may God have mercy on it.
I feel bad for the St. Louis people a little bit, right?
Of course you do. I mean, these people out I was gonna call them a bad name. These people out in LA get to go to the Super Bowl, but oh yeah, the Rams. I've been a Rams fan since November. No, okay?
I've been a Rams fan since week 17. It's great. Ross, okay, last question from me. What was your pre-game meal before you played, and also pre-week meal leading up to it? I know we talked about the Chipotle. You give a little extra wink, get a little extra meat on the bowl. You know what I mean? But what was your go-to meal to prep for games?
Well, so there's team meals, right? So you have to eat what they have there, and it depends on the kickoff time. In the morning, I would usually get an omelet.
Okay.
I would get an omelet in the morning. Protein. Here's the thing that people might not realize. When you're an NFL lineman, obviously you eat a lot, right? But for a 1:00 game, you have to be at the stadium by 10 at the latest. So you're at the hotel, which is 20 minutes away. You probably eat around 8 a.m. You don't eat again till 30 minutes after the game.
That's
till 4:30.
Starving?
Oh, after the game. Now, what's interesting is you don't think about it at all during the game, because the way I've learned this, the way the human body works is you can really only worry about one thing at a time.
Yeah.
If you've ever if you have a sore knee, oh, my knee hurts, whatever, just like take a hammer and bash your right thumb, you'll forget about your knee in a second. You're like, oh, my thumb. Oh, like your knee will feel great. I don't know what it's like endorphins or neurosignals. So here's the thing. You can be hungry
over here.
You can be hungry, but you go out there and there's a 340-pound dude right this far from your nose trying to kill you in front of 80,000 people. You're not worried about getting a PB&J, okay? You're worried about survival, okay? You don't worry about – then you shower after the game and you're like, oh, man, I am hungry. I am really hungry now.
Ross, we so appreciate it. Thank you so much. Good luck eating all the food before the Super Bowl starts, and then enjoy watching the game from the comfort of your own couch.
Plan your route home.
Yes.
Yes. It's going to be nice. Strategy. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Jared, I'll see you on Pickswise Playbook. And good luck, everybody.
Bye, Ross. Thank you so much. I didn't think about that. You're not eating the whole time. I'm like an avid, like, eat every 2 hours kind of a person, if not every hour. Like, I eat so much food during the day.
You would have food on the sidelines with you if you were an NFL player. Like, you would bring like a snack. Like, you bring like
snacks. I would be like, I was the person eating orange slices at halftime during my soccer games growing up. Like, I'm eating all the time. Like, you got to have the food. It's crazy. Yeah, God, Ross is so funny. He cracks me up. Okay, let's move on to college basketball. Big game tonight. Kansas City Jayhawks. I'm all flustered now. The Kansas Jayhawks taking on the Texas Longhorns. Yeah. Let's talk about this one. Texas hosting the Jayhawks at Irwin Center. Kansas right now sitting at the top of the Big 12. They're 19-3 on the season, 8-1 in the Big 12. They beat Baylor on Saturday. That was a huge win for them. Texas, they're coming off of a big win over Iowa at home. They covered as 9-point favorites in this one. We're both on the same side. We both like Kansas. You got it at +1.5 though. When did you bet this game?
Late last night. It was a bet.
I got it this morning, and I got it as Kansas laying a point. So
I'm not surprised we saw the line flip here. So I saw some of the early market indicators point that Kansas was going to be the side that got the early money and that got the line flip overnight. And it's not a huge probability difference between +1 to -1, but there's still some optics there. And once that line flips, then it kind of gives a little upside to where I think this line maybe could close at 2 or 2.5. I wouldn't play it at anything longer than 3.
Yeah.
But that win they had over Baylor the other day was very impressive. I don't think Kansas should be an underdog to anybody in the Big 12 right now. The only teams that I think Kansas should be maybe an underdog to: Gonzaga, Auburn, maybe Duke, maybe Purdue, Kentucky, obviously, because they just beat them in Lawrence. Texas is not one of those teams. Ochai Agbaji looked very good his first game back from COVID, 18 points, 9 boards, 2 assists. Usually the first game back from COVID, you're a little bit wobbly. We didn't see that. I expect him to continue to play at an incredibly high level, arguably one of the best players in the country. And since Kansas got blown out by Kentucky on their home court,
it was almost maybe one of the best things that happened to them because they've been on fire.
2 wins, 2 covers. Impressive stuff. And then you get this Texas team. They struggled with Iowa State in the first half. They were actually down in that game. Iowa State just completely fell off the map in the second half. Prior to that, they lost to Texas Tech, who has been kind of up and down in their own right this year. And this is the thing that really pushed me to Kansas. This is now, I don't know if you heard, Lauren, but after February is March. That's the next month.
Wait,
what? I know, it's crazy, right? The time just flies. But my point is, March is the month where we start looking at certain metrics and put a lot more weight on them. Mm-hmm. To me, a big one is turnovers. I do not trust teams in March that turn over the basketball at a high rate. Texas is not a good team protecting the pumpkin.
Yes.
They do not protect the ball. 44 turnovers in their last 3 games. 112th this season in non-steal turnover percentage. They are a bottom half college basketball team in the entire country out of 358 Division I teams in non-steal turnover percentage. What that percentage means, sometimes the non-steal turnovers, the 4 unforced errors where you throw the ball over the guy's head or it's an offensive foul, those are the mental errors that, in my opinion, decrease your chances of winning close big games. Texas is not a good team in that category. We're fading. Texas is a fade in these big games. Until Chris Beard and this offense can figure out how to hold on to the pumpkin, I'm not betting Texas in a big game. This is a big game tonight for Kansas. Big 12 supremacy is on the line. I think the Jayhawks win outright.
I think the Jayhawks went outright too, and I'm actually having them lay 1 point. You said you'd bet it up to 3, right? Jayhawks laying 3. Yep. But I mean, you look at Kansas offense; they're third in KenPom efficiency right now. They have strong shooting numbers from 2 and 3. They're also a top 20 offensive rebounding team, and I think that can punish maybe the one weakness that Texas's defense has, right? Because Texas does have a pretty good defense. I also think that Texas, when you're watching them play, they're lacking a true facilitating point guard, and that is tough for a team to be able to get things going, run good sets. And then their losses to Texas Tech and Gonzaga, they're not necessarily competitive in 2 games against elite competition. I would put Kansas up there with Texas Tech and Gonzaga. Absolutely. They showed their vulnerability at home, losing to Kansas State. Now, Kansas is looking more and more like a national title contender, especially after Saturday's win. I think the offense can take it to a new level. Texas is not going to be able to match it. So I like Kansas laying a point here. And you have
Kansas has the best player on the floor in Ochai Agbaji. Mm-hmm. And you basically said exactly why they're having issues in the turnover department. They don't have a true point guard.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Yeah. Guard play, runs, march. I don't care how good you are up front. It matters that you're good up front, you're big, and you can rebound, and that's fine. If you don't have strong guard play, and if you can't squeeze the pumpkin, I ain't betting on you in March. It ain't happening.
Yeah, totally. And look what dumpster diving for a second. Furman taking on ETSU, Jared. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so I'll be honest. The totals have not treated me well lately. I haven't had a good year with totals. Same thing in NFL. I didn't have a good year in NFL totals, but this one really stood out to me. You know why? Point distribution. So these 2 teams very much live and die by the 3. These are top 20 point distribution teams relying on the 3. What does that mean? 46% of Furman's points comes from 3-pointers. 40.3% of East Tennessee State's points come from 3-pointers. Live and die by the 3. If both teams are shooting the 3 well in this game, it's going to fly over the total of 144.5. Actually surprising, Furman is a better 3-point shooting team on the road. This game is at East Tennessee State tonight. Slightly, 39.1% to 38.8%. So this is a Furman team that isn't afraid to go on the road and jack up a bunch of threes. They just played a 100-82 game against Citadel. They made 16 threes. They allowed 15. Oh, by the way, seriously, East Tennessee State just played an 87-84 game against Western Carolina where they made 15 threes and allowed 16. I would be shocked if one of these teams does not make double-digit threes in this game. I think both of these teams will at least attempt 20 to 25 threes in this game. And if they're making them at a relatively high percentage, I think this game is going to fly over the total of 144.5. So we're going back to the SoCon. It has not been a great conference for us, admittedly, but we're going to try to go back tonight and hit up East Tennessee State Furman over 144.5.
I like it. I really like it. Okay, let's get into our Pickswise.com 3-star play of the day. Who do we got?
Check it out. Actually, I need to refresh the page. Hold on one second. I'm looking at yesterday's page.
The good old internet refresh.
Good old internet. All right, our friend Robin Hong is on the over 129.5 in Pittsburgh and Virginia Tech. I don't really know why, because I don't have the write-up in front of me. But
guess what? Go to Pickswise.com and you can read about it yourself. Quick plug to the website. And then our best bets of the day. I'll let you go first. You already kind of talked about it, and then I'll go to the NHL for mine.
Yeah, light card tonight. Only 5 games in the NBA, only 2 games in the NHL. My good friend and pal Lauren Jabbar has got you covered on that realm. But the Ice Queen herself. I do think the best game of the night is this Kansas-Texas game. And I do think Kansas wins outright. And I'm willing to lay up to probably 2 points. I would prefer 1.5. It's still at 1 right now. I got it at plus 1.5 last night. I'm going to grade it there. But I think the money line is a very safe play here. And for all the reasons that we talked about before, Kansas coming off of that amazing, just uplifting win over Baylor. I think they will ride that momentum. And I think Texas will struggle to hold on to the basketball. The turnovers, the sloppy play on offense will be an issue for the Longhorns tonight. And I think Kansas goes into Austin, and gets a big win and continues to secure their Big 12 supremacy.
I like it. Secure the bag, baby.
5 straight wins tonight. PODs. We're hot. We're hot.
Red hot. Coming in hot, 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 hot. Okay. Speaking of a team that's hot, the Carolina Hurricanes, who are heading to Toronto to take on the Maple Leafs. This is the first game back from All-Star break. There's only 2 games that are going on tonight. I like the Canes money line in this spot at plus 112. First day back from All-Star. Yeah, the Leafs are playing well. They're on a 5-game winning streak. Carolina, first in the Metro Division, have a 4-game winning streak of their own going on right now. Toronto has gone 16-4-1 on the season at home. The Canes, though, have had great results coming off of breaks. Hear me out on this, okay? They've won 8 of their last 9 games following rest of at least 3 days.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes, 6-2 in their last 8 road games. And the Leafs have only had 1 win in their last 5 Monday night games. They've dropped 6 of the last 7 home games against the Canes. Frederik Andersen for the Canes has posted 24-6-0 tally this season, 2.01 goals against average, 929 save percentage. And the Canes are 5th most in goals scored this season, 3.48. They're top of the league in least goals allowed, 2.33. I think they're going to go into Toronto. I think they're going to roll. They're going to take advantage of the Leafs and make their win streak up to 5. Coming off of that All-Star break rest. I think it'll be a good spot for them. So I like their money line.
The rest category used that often because during the course of the regular season, you don't get that much rest usually.
No, maybe 2 days, maybe.
And
most weeks you have 3 games. Some weeks you have 4 games. Which one is a back-to-back? I mean, it's been crazy too.
Yeah, so you probably only get to go to that bandwagon, that rest bandwagon, like maybe 5 or 10 times during the year, and this is one of them. So that's a good cookie jar to get your hand caught in.
Yep, absolutely. Jared, it's been fun. Monday's still fun. I hope everyone has fun tonight. That's it for us today. Find us on the Pickswise YouTube channel. Go to pickswise.com. Follow us on Twitter. Jared Smith and Lauren Jabara. We'll be back at you tomorrow. See you in about 23 hours. Best of luck tonight. Let's get it. Let's bet it.